Turn that volume up. You know you want it. It's time for Women's Basketball TV with former NCAA champion, WNBA champion, business mogul, and national TV personality, Fran Harris.
A'ja Wilson is a generational talent. We have no one like her in the WNBA.
Bringing you entertaining, on-point analysis.
Did LSU just win the national championship?
Tea and inside scoop on this sport you love.
NIL is going crazy. All I'm saying is if they're making $5 million as a student athlete, can't they pay for their own college? I mean, I'm just asking. It's just a question.
Let's get it.
What's up? Good morning, Hoop family. Hope y'all enjoyed that electrifying Game 3 yesterday. It was just what the doctor ordered. Okay, maybe not for the Aces. It wasn't just what the doctor ordered, but come on. We want women's basketball to attract the right audience and to attract a rabid fan base. And you got to have games like that to keep everybody interested. So maybe a little bit too thrilling for the Aces, just what New York wanted. I love the W, so I want the series to be great. If this is your first time checking us out on the Morning After Show, I am Fran Harris. I'm the host and producer of this show, and I talk about what happened the night before in the games and exactly what went down. And so let me give you the rundown that we use. We use a 4-part rundown in the Morning After Show. And it starts off with the game summary, as you can see, game summary here. Then we talk about stars and slugs in the game, meaning who played well and who didn't play well. See, what had happened was I break down kind of what the technical aspects are over the victory and the defeat. And then we do the last segment, which is called Fix It Jesus. This is what needs to happen for the losing team to come out of the gates and get a different ending at the end of the game. So those are the 4 parts that we go over in the Morning After Show. Let's jump right into it. All right. So obviously the quick summary is that the Liberty won 87-73. And honestly, it could have been worse. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. It could have been worse. That's how well the Liberty played yesterday. But before we get into that, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, but let's talk about some humanity right here. We're going to talk about Game 3 for sure, but let's talk about the fact that Chelsea Gray went out of the game with an injury that we still don't know what that injury is. And, you know, I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys always. 2 or 3 things I want to say about this. I saw something online about people saying they didn't need to show Chelsea, you know, going in the hallway and she looked hurt, whatever. It was just tasteless. It was whatever. So let me say this respectfully. We're going to have to disagree about some stuff as the seasons go on, y'all. We got to be able to talk about things without being disrespectful to one another. But let me share this with you as a member, as a fan, and then as a member of the media for the past 20 plus years. That's what they are paid to do. That is exactly what media, that's what they're there for. They're there to give you, the fans, the inside look to things that people wouldn't necessarily see. That's what they're supposed to do, y'all. And I know that feels bad sometimes. Maybe it feels a little icky. And sometimes it does go overboard. But let me give you an example of why this is completely in line and professional and what might not be a professional take on this. So let's say you guys have seen injuries where people's, like, their bones are sticking out of their legs or there's blood everywhere, whatever. So you have to draw the line as a producer as to whether you want to show that kind of stuff. But in this case, Chelsea's just getting assistance to go to the training room to get some medical assistance. There's nothing wrong with that. We can agree and disagree about whether y'all wanted to see that or not, but that's basic. That's actually just basic, great journalism. Okay, what's happening? She's a star of the game. She is the star of the game. And as we all know, we've never seen Chelsea Gray not be in the Aces lineup. And I mean, period. So this is news. It has to be shown. It absolutely has to be shown. So y'all cut the media. I know we love to hate the media. Y'all got to cut the media a little slack on this. They were doing their job. And this is exactly what needed to happen. So we can move on from that aspect of it. Again, we can agree to disagree, but I'm here to give you some insights from both sides of it. I've been on the side where I had to report on some very tough things to report on. That's what you do in a game. That's what a journalist does during a game. It's like wartime. Like, they got to go and stand in Bosnia or Yugoslavia or where Czechoslovakia, wherever, and they got to bring the sometimes very gory, disturbing news of war. It's the same thing with sports, y'all. So agree to disagree, but I just want to give you that insight on that. And so speaking of this, Chelsea Gray, we're going to talk about the New York Liberty. We don't want to take too much time to talk about one story without getting to the fact that the New York Liberty played incredible basketball yesterday. But I did want to tell you that. And I did also want to say this, one more thing about this. As a member of the media for the past 20 years, obviously I have unprecedented access sometimes, not always, sometimes, to what's happening behind the scenes. And I would never, ever speculate on what's happening here. Right. So even as a reporter, studio analyst, play-by-play, color analyst on games, we were always taught, and I really stand by this and I like this, not to speculate. You're not a doctor. You're not a medical professional. You weren't even there. Don't tell the fans, don't tell the viewers what you think it is. So I always tried to stand by that. Now, what I would do as a former player and also as a former coach, if I saw something, she stepped on a foot, we got a replay of it, then yeah, clearly she stepped on a foot, but I'm not going to go and diagnose it. I think it was a tear of the medieval, or the medium torso, but don't do that. So what I'm seeing a lot in these forums, and yeah, people do still have forums and these groups, is everybody saying she tore her ACL, she did it. Because everybody wants to act like they have the scoop on stuff, y'all. Like, I have the scoop, and I'm not acting like I have the scoop. So stop it. Shut that down. Stop it. Like, it's unnecessary. Everybody wants to act like they got the big, I broke this news. That's a big thing in journalism. We're going to be the ones to break this news. When Nikki McCrae died, somebody wanted to break the news. When Kobe Bryant died, somebody wanted to break the news. When Michael Jordan retired, right? I get it. It's a big deal in journalism, but sometimes it's humanity. We got to exercise a little bit more humanity. So am I going to tell you what I know to be happening with Chelsea Gray? Absolutely not. It's not my job to tell y'all that. I will tell y'all that once, if I got like permission, hey, thanks for letting me know this. I'm going to go ahead and report this on my show. That's business as well. But y'all who were not there, were just watching television, and now you're diagnosing what's up with Chelsea Gray. Because a lot of people want to get to say, I called it. Like, everybody wants to say that. I called it. We got to chill on that. Like my nephew says, chill. Y'all got to chill on that. All right, so that's the serious part of the show. Let's jump back into what's happening and what happened in game 3. So we got to talk about this, y'all. We got to talk about how amazing. I got to put my glasses on because I can't see what the scroll button is. Let's keep it 100. We got to talk about how amazing New York was. Shout out to the New York Liberty with those badass colors of y'all. I love that. I love those colors. Jonquel Jones, as I said in the pregame show, doing what Jonquel Jones does, has been. As we say in my neighborhood, she been playing like that. So Jonquel Jones just showed up and continued to do what she continued to do. It was the others that I have been admonishing to step up their game. Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu played better. Benijah Laney, like New York they put on for the city yesterday. And we have not seen them play that way in this series. And one of the things I said after I watched them play, like I think game 2 was like New York. Somebody asked me, interviewed me and said, what do you think New York needs to do in game 3 to have a better outing? And I said, I didn't even start with anything technical. I was like, yo, they just got to have some pride. Like, you can't let people beat the brakes off you like that. You got to have some pride. And that is exactly what Stewie said in the press conference yesterday. She was like, I think we have more pride. And so did Jonquel. It starts there. If your team, I don't care how talented they are, if they don't have pride, they ain't gonna win nothing. They're not gonna win anything big. So New York did what they needed to do. They took care of home court. They beat the Aces, and they beat them in a pretty convincing fashion. That looked like the New York team from the Commissioner's Cup this year. So shout out to the New York Liberty on that. We're going to jump into some stats real quickly. But I was very excited to see New York do what they did. Game recap. Credit to the Las Vegas Aces. Pulled this right from your website. Let's keep it a buck. The Aces fell behind early. I'm watching the game because I'm watching my niece and I'm watching the game. They fell behind early. And I knew what kind of day it was going to be, just because when you've been in those situations, you can feel a team that is not ready to die, a team that is not ready to go down. They're not ready to be swept. So New York came out with a better mentality. As they said in the press conference last night, we got to get off to a better start. Hell, they got off to a really good start. Right. So they fell behind early, even though Plum was able to have a really good game. The two stars that we've been talking about didn't have great games. A'ja Wilson had a double-double. Like most times, that would be spectacular for most people. For A'ja Wilson, it was a solid game. It wasn't a great game. Chelsea Gray, 11 points, but she wasn't in her bag. We talked about that in the pregame show. You got to keep the ball out of Chelsea's hand. You got to make it more difficult. So the Aces did not have a great offensive game. But let's keep it a buck, y'all. That's because New York played better defense. Like, we can just say, oh, yeah, my shots were off. Well, my shots were off because they played better defense, right? So we got to look at all of it. We just can't look at the numbers. We got to look at what was impacting the Aces' inability to do Aces things. And it was New York's defense. New York played better defense. They were more intense. They were more deliberate. They were more intentional. They were more competitive. You need all of those if you're going to try to win somebody's championship. So New York looked like a championship team caliber, a championship caliber team yesterday. No question about that. So let's jump into a little bit more about that. I'll give you some numbers for those of you who didn't see it, but you're watching the recap. Chelsea Gray scored 11 points. Kia Stokes grabbed 9 rebounds. Good stuff. Jonquel Jones scored a team high 27 points, and Breanna Stewart had 20 points and 12 rebounds. Breanna Stewart was doing superstar things yesterday. I'm still not convinced that Sabrina Ionescu understands what's going to be needed for her for them to win Game 4 Wednesday, but that's a whole nother conversation. All right, let's keep it going. Let's look at some of these stats. I'm going to do a show, just so y'all know, called Data Don't Lie. All right. Data don't lie. We're going to start looking at some of the stats, not just this season, but all throughout the WNBA's history, and proving that data don't lie. All right. So when I look at the stats for New York right now, the things that stand out for me are the following. Ionescu's 11 assists. That's pretty hefty. Okay. I'm a back off of you on that. 11 assists. That's pretty hefty. She shot 3 of 9 from the field goal, 3 of 7 from 3. Not bad. All right. Good outing for Sabrina. Solid, not great. I'll get to her in a minute. Let's talk about Stewart. 8 of 16, 50% from the floor. 1 of 4 threes. That's fine. 75%, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. 11 rebounds. 11 defensive rebounds, 1 offensive rebound, 12 rebounds for Stewart, 4 assists. Okay. Solid, strong. Jonquel Jones, 10 of 15, regular field, 4 of 7 from the three-point land. This is a center. It's a forward. It's a center. It's a point center. Solid, 7 rebounds, 7 defensive rebounds, 1 offensive rebound, 8 rebounds total, 3 assists. Excellent line. Stewie and Jonquel Jones, excellent line. But let's go to the person who I said, baby, you got to show up. Y'all know who it is. Who was it? Courtney Vandersloot. Courtney Vandersloot. Baby, listen, you did it. You can't just come out there and think you're going to dribble down the court 6 times and pass it to somebody and we're going to call you a point guard. You got to do something. And Courtney Vandersloot showed up as a scoring threat. Say that with me, y'all. Scoring threat. And because of that, New York was elevated. Courtney Vandersloot's line, 5 of 10 field goals, 1 of 3 from the three-point line, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 7 total rebounds, and 6 assists. As Will Smith said in, I think it was Bad Boy 2, now that's what I'm talking about. That's how you drive that car. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Now that's how you play the point guard position, Courtney. Big time, big time. Not anything outlandish, but she was present. She had a presence. And that is why New York was able to elevate. You couldn't lag off of her. You couldn't help off of her. She was back playing the way we're used to seeing Courtney Vandersloot play, or the way she played, at least in the Chicago Sky. So in the scheme of my 4 kind of pillar of the morning show, what had happened was Courtney Vandersloot showed up, y'all, and the rest of the Liberty showed up. So let's keep this thing going. Let's look at some aces numbers real quick before I get out here. Jackie Young, 2 of 9. I'm not even gonna go all the way down that line. If Jackie Young is shooting 2 of 9 and 0 of 3 from 3-point line, you know it's a bad day. Asia Wilson, 4 of 16. Okay, it's a bad day. Kelsey Plum, big shining moment, 10 of 22, 5 of 10 from 3-point line. She was balling outrageous. Chelsea Gray, 4 of 12. Y'all follow me right now. 4 of 12. Chelsea Gray, 4 of 12. And here's a big number. Look at my cursor over here. 3 rebounds and 2 assists. That's what you call containment. That's what you call containment. Big time. I talked about that in the pregame show. You have to contain the Aces running game, and you don't contain the Aces running game without containing Chelsea Gray. That's what happened there. So that's going to do it for the morning after show. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Give me your thoughts on what you were most surprised about in the game yesterday. What did you think was going to happen? What were your predictions? And what were some of the things that surprised you? And then what are your predictions or what are your predictions for game 4? Because game 4 is coming, baby. Game 4 Wednesday. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and or comment. Any 4 of those things really feeds YouTube's algorithm and tells them that you guys enjoy this and enjoy this content. All right. So turn on the notifications so that you will get my pregame show for game 4 Wednesday. And I will see you guys later. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to Women's Basketball TV with Fran Harris, the most provocative and entertaining women's basketball show on earth. Be sure to click that like, share, and notification button so you don't miss a moment. We'll see you tomorrow.